So me and my team are still digging very deep into the David case, and we're gathering all kinds of evidence that has been overlooked. And in this video, I'm going to take a closer look at some of the very suspicious trips that David took overseas. I've been wondering a few questions, because when David had the argument with Celeste right before he allegedly committed the murder, he said to her, "I can't have you over my house. My parents are coming over. We can't talk. I'm going to Singapore." Singapore? Remember that. And, you know, why can't we talk when I get back from Singapore? He was obviously doing all this weird anime stuff. He was getting big in Asia. And there's been a lot of talk about his trips to different places, particularly Singapore and overseas. And so me and my team decided to dig extra deep into some of these trips and try and get an understanding of exactly what was going on during some of these time frames. So I'm gonna break all of that down to you in this video. We're gonna look at a whole bunch of different trips. And basically, there's kind of more parts of this crime that might be unveiled and his grooming pattern through these trips. So I want to show you this, right? This is very, very interesting. So there's been speculation, and I'm not sure that this is true, to be honest with you, okay? This weirdo, all right? He's constantly sharing bits of information. I'm not sure it always adds up. But this was posted 10 months ago, saying Celeste was in Las Vegas with her cousin Esmeralda before. That's allegedly, I don't know if it was the cousin. I thought it was the sister, so that might not be true. But basically, they're saying, it was said pretty clearly that Celeste went to Las Vegas with David. Now, I just want to call out this post for being completely wrong. This weirdo is completely wrong because it was revealed in court that David had texted Celeste saying that their Vegas trip was booked August 11th to 17th, and that would have been 2024. So this inference that Celeste was in Vegas with cousin Esmeralda is a lie. The idea that it was in 2023 is also a lie. David was in Las Vegas, apparently performing with SZA. But as far as I'm aware, Celeste wouldn't have been there, all right? He claimed that he hadn't met her, I believe, until November the 12th, 2023. That was the only time, that was at least what he told cops was the first time that he saw her in person. But they were together in Vegas, but it wouldn't be until August of 2024. And I believe it was the Celeste's sister that actually not accompanied them, but was in Vegas at the same time. So I'm just going to double check my notes to make sure I'm correct. So what was said in court is they said Celeste's adult sister was aware of the relationship and was in Vegas at the same time as them, traveled there in a different car and stayed elsewhere, but they met up at some point in Las Vegas. So this isn't true, but again, I just want to build a timeline. I want to set the record straight and correct some of this guy's lies, girls, or whatever, whoever this they, them is, might be. But also I want to kind of build up a picture of some of the other actually more relevant trips. Okay, so obviously this timeline doesn't add up. October 2023, I mean, if we believe what David said when he spoke to the police, he hadn't actually met Celeste in person at that point. But again, he is known to be a liar, so we don't know. But obviously we saw the body-worn camera where they visited where they visited David's Hollywood residence on February the 17th, 2024, just a few days after Celeste's parents reported her missing from Lake Elsinore. And basically, you know, this is when David said, "Oh, she told me she was 18. Everyone's saying she's 13. Everyone." Burke showed the deputies the missing persons flyer that Reva's family posted online. He had it on his phone and held it up for one of the deputies to take his own photo. He showed the deputies her 6th grade yearbook photo from her middle school in Lake Elsinore. In the photo, she's wearing a top with the Batman insignia. And he said that he only saw her once in person, November 12th, 2023, and they last spoke on February 13th, which was a lie. So something that is interesting, that's a little connection that could be made, right, is that he admitted that he saw Celeste once in person on November the 12th, 2023. Well, that was shortly before his first official Asia tour, which began on November the 23rd, and he popped that off in Jakarta, Indonesia. Oh my God. So this is it's basically kind of you know, I guess this is like an Asian business news website. It says American singer David to hold debut tour across Asia, published August 23rd, 2023. And it said he was set to take his Petals to Thorns tour across Asia, marking his first ever performance tour in the region. It was set to take place between November and December, taking him to Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, Japan, and South Korea. Live Nation announced details like tour dates and ticket sales via Live Nation Asia. For the Jakarta tour, no ticket information was released as of writing. However, general admission tickets for the Singapore tour will only be made available through Live Nation. Pre-sales on August the 28th. So details about all his tickets. That's kind of the promotional poster. So he was having some motion, all right, at the end of 2023. Very, very interesting. So just before this trip, he allegedly is having his first meetings with Celeste. Or at least that's what he says. Now, what's very interesting, okay, is that when he would have been scheduled to actually be over there for these shows, bear in mind the first is Jakarta on November the 23rd. Well, it turned out, all right, and this was never pointed out in court, but I guess we can deduce this. It turned out that while David is traveling, that's when they're having their first pregnancy scare, because she and him have these messages back and forth in this little exchange. I guess while he's over there, she said she refuses to have kids. She's manifesting her pee. He's saying, did you miss your date? You should start using the Flow app to track it. Her saying, I'm not keeping it. He sends her the hyperlink to the Flow app. And he's being an absolute dummy, saying, oh, it's damn near impossible. We both didn't finish, so you can't possibly be expecting. Absolute clown, okay? So bear in mind, all right, he's dealing with this nonsense in the sort of background, all right? His own nonsense, by the way. I'm not saying that Celeste is giving him nonsense. I'm saying that it's nonsense that he's created this horrific situation. It's nonsense that he is not just dating somebody his own age. But anyway, or at least of age, you know what I'm saying? Or even older, like whatever. But basically here, you've got David in Singapore. He did make it to Asia. This is a meet and greet experience being offered for the November 26th show in Singapore. So he was over there. So this clown, all right, I just want you guys to understand, while all these fans are lining up to meet this clown, okay, see him texting on his phone. He's on his phone, probably texting Celeste about this termination. He's out here swanning off in Singapore, right, signing autographs, and Celeste is back home dealing with this. Can you imagine this? Look, it's just ridiculous. This is what he's got going on, and then he's texting her about terminations. Absolutely clown show, okay? So what's interesting is it was actually around this same time, okay, a little bit after this, that the alleged Celeste demo song is leaked. It says recorded in late December 2023, named after a former partner of David, Celeste. It's an unreleased song expressing his deep emotions for the alleged subject. Over a sad piano melody, he expresses his love for Celeste, ending with a guitar solo. So bear in mind, all right, this is in the midst of them having a, you know what I'm saying, child scare, let's call it, to be safe, all right? And then he's writing these songs about how much he loves her. He wants her to be his Valentine. I want to make Cupid, you know what I'm saying? So this is what it's like to not need weed to get high. I love it when you hold me when you cry. Just because these are the thoughts that cross my mind. I love you so much. It's just so creepy, all right? If I had the money, I would buy us time just to get by, just to stay high. Celeste with my name tattooed on her chest, smell her on my clothes like cigarettes. This is just so creepy. And obviously there's been talk about him, but he's so closed off. You know, he probably barely even met any girls. Right, for him to be so obsessed with this girl, this minor, it's like he's given that energy of somebody that's never even spoken to a girl before. Like he's in love with this little girl. Like, just fucking grow up. All right, I really dislike this guy. But so like in the midst of that, he's coming back from tour. We're finding out that he's writing these songs about Celeste. All right, so like that would have been leaked. He might have been on the road in Asia making that song. It leaked, I think it says late December 2023, but he could have recorded it while he was on the road or before he left. All of that kind of stuff, okay? And then, like, we get into the new year of 2024, and they're still going back and forth about this termination that they're planning, all right? And then he's basically, bear in mind, he's been swanning off in Asia all this time. And then he's talking about, sorry, I didn't want to put you through this. She's saying neither of us can take care of it. Neither of us are capable of watching and taking care of a baby. And the difference is, it's like, she's a minor. So yeah, she shouldn't be taking care of a baby. He's off on tour in Asia, so he can't take care of his illicit kid. Like, what's wrong with this guy? He's saying, when are you going to get it done? 2 days. He's asking her if it's his. Just horrible. Okay, so we know that it went down on January the 9th, 2024. He's basically asking her, like, when's it happening? When's it going to be done? You've got it at 9. You know, how did it go? When's it going to be done? All this kind of stuff. And what's crazy is that we can now connect the dots, because at the end of January, like January 2021, January 21st, 2024, right, there was this pregnancy thread in the David Discord that a lot of people think was Celeste. Someone talking about, I think I'm pregnant. Why do you think it? My belly gets bigger. Sometimes something kicks in. When was the last time you had S? 2 months ago. Now, what's interesting is this would actually line up. So this would be 2 months ago. This is the end of January. All right, this is how we know that David is so fucking cooked. All right, so this deleted user talking about 2 months ago. All right, look, I don't know if this is definitely Celeste, but it's like, it adds up, right? Because if they're talking about, we did it 2 months ago, okay, David and Celeste, they met allegedly. All right, they talking about they met in November, okay, of 2023. This is the end of January, talking about we did it 2 months ago. So just so that I can actually just drive the point home. He claimed that he saw her once in person on November the 12th, 2023. And then in January, she's talking about this. We've already seen them go back and forth about this termination. I don't have parents, but thanks for the advice. I will get rid of the child. So what's weird is that, what's odd is that obviously this conversation took place, now we know, like a couple of weeks after the actual A word had taken place. So that is a little bit like strange and suspect, but at the same time, a lot of people think that this is actually her. We don't know for sure. You know, we basically doesn't know for sure that this is Celeste, could be someone else, but it lines up. It lines up when they're saying, when was the last time you had S? It lines up. And, you know, bear in mind, David's been on tour and stuff. So obviously we combine that with the fact that, like, there was then Operation Awesome. You know, she allegedly ran away. I need to just change something quick. So, like, bear in mind, she's running away from home to be with him. If you saw the last video I did about all the, well, not the last, maybe the video before last that I did about, you know, all the times that the family called the police and reported her missing, and then she ends up getting sent back and all that kind of thing. You know, it's very, very interesting, all right? So she's running away. She's getting sent back to her parents' house. You know, she's running away numerous times. She's allegedly getting delivered back to her home in a squad car by the police, and there's not really been enough said about that. What's really weird, okay, is that in March of 2024, David drops this song, My House Is Not a Home, and there's actually ends up being a live performance of it that is quite interesting. But again, it kind of seems like this is sort of like a weird backwards way of referring to what's going on with Celeste. And you know that David has said before that he likes to take other people's story and like remix them and make them about him. Talking about, hello, I'm at your door again. I just needed a friend, but now I share a bed with you. I think he's talking about, I think he's taken Celeste's story and then he's like basically retelling it as if it was him, but really it's Celeste that's shown up to his door. Am I dumb to succumb to the noise? I'm not a little boy no more. I've made my stupid choices too. Tell my mother I'm sorry. Tell my father just the same. Tell my sister that her brother might as well have gone insane. My sister, all right? Bear in mind, we're knowing that Celeste's sister knew about the relationship. Is there space for me in Houston? Because it's spacious in LA where the grass is always greener and the world can scream my name. So I think he's taking the Celeste story and making it his own here. Bro, sorry, but you never really cared about the way everything turned out. You didn't want to fall in love. You're looking out for yourself now. It's starting to piss me off. I thought you had you figured out. Never thought you'd call my bluff. Guess who belongs to someone else now? I wouldn't be surprised if this is him sort of like using a metaphor to explain about how like he wanted Celeste to Operation Awesome to come and live with him, and she keeps going back to her family, which is just twisted, right? Sorry if I overshared. See, life isn't fair. I'm more and more aware of it now. You get drunk, then start to curse me out. Now, we've seen footage of Celeste drunk cursing out her neighbors. That's something she was known to do. I'm sorry. I know she's young, but that was something that happens. And he's talking about, I told you to watch your mouth. We've seen Celeste's neighbors telling her to watch her mouth. Stop saying the N-word. Stop acting like a gangster. That's exactly what my mother would warn me about. But baby, you can call me when it's over. So that makes me think like, you know, when you calm down or when you can get away from your parents. I talked to your therapist. He said you were getting sober. There's only so many heads that can rest on a shoulder, but I think yours was the best for me to cry over. The house we called our home has fallen to pieces on its own. I know that you're better off alone, babe. I could fix you, but I won't. So very weird, right? Very sus, a bit strange. So this is like a YouTube short kind of thing of David doing this weird live performance in a warehouse, and it has this caption related to the acoustic version of that song, My House Is Not Home. It says, imagine leaving everything behind for someone that don't even want you. Now, that's really kind of odd, the way that he's talking about this, right? Because it's like, is he talking about himself, about Celeste? Imagine Celeste left everything behind for someone that doesn't even want you. David doesn't even want her, and she's left her whole family behind to come to him, and he doesn't want her. Or is it him sort of talking in this weird third person and saying that he left everything behind, i.e. he basically sacrificed his whole career getting in a relationship with a minor, and Celeste went back to her parents and doesn't even want him? Either which way is twisted, all right? It's twisted. Like, what this guy should not be doing this, okay? Now, bear in mind, okay, this little clip, all right, this little clip was on, let's see, this little clip was posted to his YouTube on April the 1st, 2024. Now, bear in mind, okay, 4 days after he's posting this clip, she's missing again. She's documented missing once again. And suddenly it's like, what do you mean you're talking about all this stuff about, oh, imagine leaving somebody for someone who doesn't even want you. Next thing you know, she's leaving, she's missing again. And look, I don't know what he had going on, but it's like just baffling that he was having these weird, like complicated adult kind of angsty type posts about this relationship with a minor. Now, this is really going to kind of like bring together the timeline in a way that is very, very dark. Okay. Now I want to give you guys a trigger warning. You know, this video, obviously we've already kind of inferred against these things, but the thing I'm about to tell you, you know, it does relate to SA, inappropriate activity with a person that isn't of the correct age for that. So I want to give you guys a trigger warning. If you don't want to hear about that, I'd suggest you go and watch another video. And I'm only showing you this for documentary, journalistic, artistic and scientific purposes. The purpose of this is because this is a story in the public interest. I want to warn the public and inform the public about this important topic, and, you know, to show people what digital online grooming looks like, the types of things that these kind of abused youngsters go through. And I want to warn everybody, I don't condone it. I condemn it. And I think anything that David or this Gus guy or anybody potentially did to Celeste is just abhorrent. And I'm just warning the public about that. So if you don't want to know about any of these, you know, harmful themes and these crimes against youngsters, maybe pick another video. But obviously these text messages are the text messages where, you know, Celeste basically admitted to doing this stuff with the other guy, Gus. And I don't want to even get too far into it. But like, basically, allegedly, these were texts between Celeste and somebody else, talking about, you know, they didn't, you know, when they lost their thing, they didn't, nothing, you know what I'm saying, bleeding, basically, saying that it only happened with David, it didn't happen with Gus, she was drunk, he got mad at her the first time for not doing stuff with him, so she was abused and R-word, really. And then people are checking up on her. She's saying she doesn't want to talk to anyone. They're saying you got to stay safe. Are you still going to talk to David or go back to him? I don't want you to get in any more trouble with him. She's saying I'm safe. I'm not going back to David. They're saying don't delete Insta. I'll text you in a week. And she says I fixed. I'm staying. Don't text. I fixed him. This is what's crazy, right? I fixed him. I don't know how. We both cried to get here, and he changed his mind. I'm happy he did, though. So initially, she's saying, I'm not going back with David, right? But then she's going miss him, and then she's saying, I fixed him. So obviously, she goes back with him, but then at the same time, allegedly, at some point, he's getting jealous about this other thing with this guy, Gus, probably not even acknowledging the fact that this would have been SA. because he is an insecure little bitch, David. All right. So he basically probably is thinking she cheating when really she got abused. But anyway, okay. There would be another. Hang on a sec. Let me show you the better piece of this document. Obviously, she said she fixed him. We both cried and got here and he changed his mind. I'm happy he did. We got back together. And then basically, within a couple of months of that, the next thing we're hearing, this would have been in June, she talking about she got pregnancy symptoms again. She's worried the first thing didn't work. So they're clearly like all the way back together and she's thinking that she might be, you know, having another child. And then he said some really horrible stuff. But then eventually says, oh, I got you a business credit card approved for you to use. Whatever you buy is a tax write-off in LA. You can buy whatever you want on the business. Now, this is low-key tax fraud. So that's definitely not going to fly. But obviously, there's a big gap in time. We don't hear about any texts between them from February to June, which I think the prosecutors are holding the cards close to their chest because I'm sure they got more. But basically, that is kind of like a very interesting tidbit. And, you know, he's talking about abortion gift. She wants the Balenciaga purse. Now, I've not seen any proof that he ever bought her that purse. So he's definitely capping on that stuff. But anyway, like, so 2 days after joking about this abortion gift Balenciaga hourglass purse, all right, they're apparently in Discord admitting that she's pregnant, all right, and basically having another A word. So people are asking, David, are you happily married or single? Somebody steps in saying he's my husband. Somebody else says me. So he says me and blank got a kid on the way. And someone says pouting cat emoji. Give me waterfall. Whoa, congrats. That's freaky, actually, but not married. Wow, wow. People saying wowzers. Someone says, yeah, David's pregnant. And they said, just so you know, March next year, LMAO. Okay. And they're saying how many months. And bear in mind, March next year, that's when they're having a giant falling out, all right? And then she's getting murdered the next month. How fucked up is that? They're saying, David getting creepy. What did I miss? The wifey conversation continues. They're saying, since when? He said, I'll join the group chat with wifey and give y'all the story time. That's ridiculous. He's in here giving the illicit story time of the alleged illegal relationship. Like, what are you doing? Someone says, since 2 minutes ago. Oh, and y'all did not. There's so much going on. Crying emojis. People saying, yas. People saying, David's in there basically saying, what should I name my kid, guys? And I honestly think this is so twisted because we know Celeste was in this Discord and we know that he was pressuring her to get terminations. And he's in there trolling everybody, including her, talking about what should I name the kids. I think it's wrong. I think it's gross. People are saying Colin, David, Michael, Jeffrey, Jordan, your name backwards, Lil David. You know, it's just twisted, right? And what's so twisted, right? He's on the 11th of July talking about a kid on the way. And we know in the background, 2 days before that, he's talking to her, talking about, I'm thinking about getting you Balenciaga hourglass purse as an abortion gift. And then a day after that, he drops this song called There Goes My Baby. I'm not going to lie, it sounds a little bit like this is about the termination now. So he dropped a song called There Goes My Baby, right? The day after they announced a pregnancy in the Discord. And what? 3 days after saying that he's going to buy her a Balenciaga hourglass purse for an abortion gift. Talking about, there goes my baby, out of my reach. Why won't you take me? It's so hard to breathe. How could you fall short? You were taller than me. There goes my baby. Why did you leave? Real? Is your love real? Darling, I've lost my mind. Still, I've got to feel something hard to find. Are you sure that you want more? If it's from him, why did I waste all my time? If you were bored, I was alone. Feels like somebody's taking my life. Now, when he says, if you want more, if it's from him, why did I waste my time? I think he's talking about that message he sent to Celeste, talking about, oh, I've got to check. My mum told me I got to ask if the baby's mine. I honestly think this guy is the ultimate gaslighter. And I think that he is just so disgustingly twisted that he takes all these little elements of the story, puts it in his music. Celeste was probably really confused and emotionally hurt and disturbed when she heard this song. Like, what the fuck? Like, what? It says here, all right, David put up a message on his newsletter when he released the song. Said, yo, I'm so excited to share There Goes My Baby is out now. It's a song I wrote about letting go of someone you love and letting them become their own person, understanding you may have been the problem. Heartbreak without heartbreak. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you soon. More music on the way. Now, I don't know when this was recorded, but what a weird time of that being released. Now, after that, okay, 4 days after that, we're seeing David online just love bombing Celeste, okay? So what's super weird, I don't know if anyone's ever seen this image, but this is David, like, what looks like in his underwear, all right, in his little boxer shorts, all right? He said, she ain't text me in 3 hours. I think she hates me. She's sleeping, all right? My GF won't post this sound, so I'm doing it myself. So this is like around the time that he's doing the engagement ring. So obviously he's pulled off, I guess, the termination or whatever he was doing to her, all right? She's posting with the engagement ring, all right? That's her with the engagement ring and the tattoo. They're in Bossa Nova, I think, in West Hollywood. There was another photo. Why has everything gotten so big all of a sudden? This was like another kind of better version of that image. Photo at Bossa Nova, West Hollywood from roughly November 2024, May 2025. We now know actually it was, this actually would have been in July of 2024 when this was taken, okay? And they're outside together. So on July 27th, 2024, that's when David and Celeste apparently attend Noor Daybash's 21st birthday party together. And then this is like some of the photos from Celeste that was there at the occasion. They're wearing the same bandana. She's there with him. So obviously that's what was going on, all right? It doesn't take a genius online detective to see what was going on with you freaks, all right? And obviously this post is infamous, okay? They deleted the post. They're saying this is nightlife recently, all right? And then so all of this is going on. What's crazy, okay, what is actually crazy, which I think is very, very dark. Like, this party in these images was right before their Vegas trip. This is like the end of July, and they go to Vegas for a week in mid-August. And obviously, I don't want to say too much, but, basically, like in the weeks leading up to this image being taken, David's talking about, I want to do all this stuff to you in Vegas. I want to do stuff to you on the couch. He's calling her certain names. Pet name. I don't even want to get into it, to be honest, but he's saying what he needs. She's saying, oh, you're always doing that to me. Like, horrendous stuff, okay? Super, super sus, super, super weird, all right? We know that they went to Vegas together, and we also know that basically it seems like things kind of went left after Vegas, okay? Because she goes and lives with her aunt in LA County, the wider LA County, and then basically she seemingly goes back, and after this Vegas trip, basically, like, he sends her a long text basically saying, oh, you want too much of me, and when I saw you 2 nights a week, that would be enough for me. Everything's changing. Now we can spend more time together. Things aren't right. You always complain about people who aren't in your life anymore. All this kind of stuff. All right. So they start having these arguments, and then by the end of the month, so within a month of this being taken, and they're talking about engagement, let's run away and get married, all this kind of stuff. All right. They're basically saying, let's get married next year and we'll have a baby, all that kind of stuff. All right. Within a month of this, they're broken up. Okay. And then they're having this giant argument. She's talking about, oh, I killed my kid for you. I would have been there for it. I regret it. And then he's gaslighting her, talking about, oh, I can't talk to you when you're crying and all this stuff. And just being like, I was sad about how the baby was conceived outside of marriage. That's not how I pictured it. Just gaslighting her massively, basically. All right. And then obviously she turns 14 on September the 7th. And that's when her parents, allegedly, their name is on this notarized travel document that allows her to travel to London. So they'd already been to Vegas together, all right, for a week. And then they seemingly broke up right afterwards. I'm not going to lie to you. It seems like they go on these trips and then they get in arguments and break up afterwards. Now, look, I'll keep it real. All right. I've been on trips with girls. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're not good. I've been on trips with girls and that's like, yo, we definitely breaking up. Like this the beginning of the end for sure. Okay. But I would say that it seems like there's a pattern of they have this really intense love bombing. And then they end up kind of like going on trips and then breaking up. So what's interesting, okay, is by the time it's her birthday on September the 7th, they're kind of cool again. Everything's kind of cool with them again. And they're kind of like, talking again. She's scared about being pregnant again. She's saying that we do stuff a lot, so that she's scared. And then basically they're saying, I'm scared about expecting again. he's basically saying, "Oh, it's not big deal. We track your pee. We're going to do it on days that you're not going to have that happen." Obviously, it's disgusting stuff. And then they go on this London trip. All right, so all of that's going on, and the London trip's on September the 24th to October the 5th, as far as I am aware. Now, this is an interview that David did with Songwriter Universe that kind of breaks down some of the details, right, about this trip. It says you're about to release your first album, Withered. Can you talk about making the album? He says the making of the album was kind of crazy. I used to do a lot of different projects with different producers. I went through 5-6 versions of this album. The most recent version, the one I'm happy with, I made in a total of 4 weeks. I went to London with 3 of my friends and we made a song every day for 2 weeks. I love London because of the gloomy aesthetic and the gloomy vibe and the environment London has. There's barely any sun there. I love that because the music I make is really sad. So in those 2 weeks, I made a song every day. I came out with half the album. Then I went back to Houston for another 2 weeks. And again, it's like she is in London. And he says, I went back to Houston for another 2 weeks, and she apparently went to Houston and met the family. Then I made the rest of the project on my phone, just off of a piece that people sent me with some things I made. So I spent 2 weeks in London trying to get myself in a different mindset, came back to Houston to put myself in the same mindset again, and made everything by myself. So I wanted to see what it looked like, or how I worked with different people, and how I worked with myself. Very interesting. So what's interesting, okay, is it seems like they go back to America. She goes to the family in Houston, and then suddenly there's a big falling out because by November the 7th, she's saying, "Oh, we did stuff every day for a year straight. You treat me like we did stuff every day for a week straight." Excuse me. She says, "I literally did stuff with you every day for a year straight." We don't have the full context of that, but he replies, "You treat this like it's the first breakup. This is like the 8th breakup." And then they basically have a back and forth in December, all right, which is very, very, very weird, okay? This is very, very weird because basically David releases a song in the midst of their breakup, all right? On December the 19th, this song, Where'd It Go Wrong, comes out, right? Saying, "Where'd it go wrong with you? I don't belong with you. It's a tragedy. I really thought you were meant..." This is obviously about Celeste, right? "This is a tragedy. I thought you were meant for me. I guess you're not, and I can't believe you. I really want to leave you. How could you lie to me? Even put a cavity between my lips. Sorry. Every kiss put a cavity between my lips. I really can't believe you. Don't even want to see you. I've got to make up my mind, but I can't be wasting time. I might die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Another life is where they'll find us. I hope they'll just remind us." Now, I feel like this is him basically being like, I don't want to die. His career will die if he's exposed for messing with a minor. Another life is where they find us, and there's a version of life where they find out I'm dealing with a minor and my life's over. All right? And then now, unfortunately, it's even more over. I hope they just remind us. I tried. Where'd it go wrong with you? Let me out. Let me out. I don't belong with you. Because he's... Facts. He's starting to see the relationship isn't what he thought it was, and the other partner was lying to him and deceived him. He's the one that's a weirdo, basically. It says, "You tell me sorry this and I apologize, but you don't want to change. I see it in your eyes, but I never got cut by a Band-Aid before. You give me bad luck. I can't take it no more." Imagine how just confused and gaslit she would have felt. Like, going through it with this guy and then seeing all the songs that he's releasing about her. He said, "Baby, don't trip on me. Baby, why can't you see?" Baby's correct. "Whenever I'm about to leave, I swear I mean it. Whenever it gets convenient, because you make my heart stop beating. I really don't want your love no more. I swear, because I don't need it. And I don't mean to be conceited, but I'm the reason you're still breathing." What? What? "I'll stop picking up your calls because you won't stop screaming. Is it love or lust? I can tell you're fiending. And I don't want to hurt your feelings, but baby, just know my feelings gone. It's been a while, but you've been on my mind now. It keeps me up at night. I cannot believe this life. I wish I never met you. I even second-guessed you, but I was in too deep. I couldn't leave. I couldn't let you walk away from everything. I thought you were everything. You told me I was special, girl, but that doesn't mean anything to me. It don't mean anything to me. I tried." And has this little "you're special, David" snippet, all right? So what's twisted about this? This came out on December the 19th, all right? 2024. According to the prosecutors, the day after this, Celeste and David go back and forth, and she says to him, "Oh, I thought you invited me to your house to cuddle. I was going to go home. We should have just left it at a kiss." And then he's saying, "Oh, you asked if I wanted S, and I folded." And then he's being like, "Oh, then we stopped. You cried. I held you. Then you asked again." And then he's like, "This happens every time you initiate it. I go with you. You asked me to be your boyfriend and I followed your lead." He just dropped this song a day before. So this gaslighting is insane, right? Like, I'm sorry, but this is a child. And she's probably hearing songs like this thinking, "Oh my God, like, where'd it go wrong? Oh my God, done so wrong. I need to fix it. I need to get this right." This is a kid. All right, it's disgusting. So obviously the relationship, not even relationship, but the abuse continued. Okay, and what's really messed up is that it seems that, you know, at the end of December, they were basically back together again. And that's when these apparent voice recordings that were later used in David's, like, interludes on his albums were apparently made, right? It says, realizing the second interlude between Celeste and David, all right? That's apparently them two on a phone call. It says, recorded in late 2024 for the Withered album with the same studio producer V before the Invisible String Theory interlude and other recordings that haven't been made public. So this is them. I'm concerned that this is going to lead to some copyright bullshit and he's going to get paid. But basically, you get the gist, right? There's like a bit of kind of music there. And then you hear this conversation between them. And again, this is after everything I've just told you. Talking about, so what made you come back? He said, I really don't know. She says, you don't know? He said, yeah. She said, how come you don't know? He said, it's a tough question. I mean, it definitely wasn't you. She says, it wasn't me? He says, yeah, I just like it here. She said, okay. He said, yeah, like, you see it? It's nice here. She says, but what if I don't want you here? He says, what? She says, what if I made you come all the way out here just to tell you that I don't want you here? He says, nah, I know. I know you want me here. I know that you called me. She says, nah, you're mean. Oh my gosh. He says, you never would have invited me out here if you didn't want me here. That doesn't make any sense. Come on. She says, okay, but for real though, what made you stay? Was it me? Was it the trees? Was it the sky? Was it the ocean, the water? Was it the clouds that we used to look up at? Was it the city that we used to stare at night? What was it? Do you actually love me? All right. So weird and corny. Okay, that's what people are saying. So clearly they were still spending time together. So going into the start of 2025, they were apparently together. All right, little New Year's get together. Steve Fisher posted. They were together. There were various images that were shared at the New Year's Eve party at David's house. Celeste not visible, but her phone, what was believed to be her phone, was there. Hello Kitty mug. So seemed to be that there was some kind of connection. But, all right, and again, we didn't really get anything from the prosecutors really between like December and March 2025. All we heard is by March 2025, they're broken up again. So they're together for New Year's Eve 2024 going into 2025. And there's a massive gap. So by March 14th, 2025, the prosecutors are saying they're still communicating, but she's saying we can be online friends, but I don't want to be friends with you in person no more. This isn't happening. I feel like we can't have a balanced relationship. All we do is have S and hang out. I want more for myself. He says boundary setting is terrible. She says it's more than that. There's thousands of messages, so we just got a taster of them, okay? But obviously, in between this New Year's Eve and that March when it's very, very clear, something's going on, all right? And David posted on February 10th that this year he didn't have a Valentine, all right? This was him sitting on his kitchen counter. Valentine's Day is 4 days away and you still don't have a Valentine, doing a little heart emoji, emote, whatever the hell you would call that, okay? But this is the thing, okay? Something was going on. She was probably still getting, you know, back and forth by him. And people noticed that apparently the same purse that was owned by Celeste was in David's house on the 2nd of April 2025, okay? Now, so David was performing at Coachella in April, so a little while after this, a little while before the murder. It was reported the full Coachella lineup was announced, okay? There was David was there basically, right? So here's the Coachella lineup for April the 11th and the 18th. There he is, David, D4VD, D4VD, whatever you want to call this clown, all right? C00KD. So obviously somebody who attended Coachella and had a whale of a time was Aysia Collins, all right? David's friend. She extensively posted it all across social media. This is April 21st, 2025. She said, bye weekend too. All right. Comments turned off naturally. All right. She crashing out. She's sleeping. Is that David's couch? I don't know. All right. But she having a whale of a time at Coachella. She posting it. She bragging. She big popping it. Oh, I'm at Coachella. Rubbing it in everybody's face. Okay. Rubbing it in everybody's face. So this was kind of some messages from the David Discord. And basically people kind of already had their thoughts on Aysia. So people were saying, This was like just a little bit before Coachella. People saying, bro, the girl in the music video looks like my ex. Someone says, was that the girl in the video? The same girl from the Here With Me music video. People are saying, posting a picture of her. They're saying, bro, this with no gatekeeping, tell me. And they said she doing David and snot. So the rumor was that she was doing David, all right? Apparently she was according to these Discord users, she was doing David and snot. All right, I don't know. Listen, all right, Aysia can confirm or deny what she thinks of that. But they shared her at Aysia, reverse image search, Insta. They found her, and obviously Celeste was not happy about Aysia's involvement. Okay, it was very, very sad what was said. So these were kind of the back and forth where she's like jealous about Aysia and finding out that they were all there. She says, can I see you Thursday? He says, nah. She says, oh, I can't be effing friends with you. You're with Neo and Aysia, bro. Find another date. I can see you. Explain why I can't see you before Singapore. He says, parents are here. I want to have a convo in person. She says, I need proof that your parents are there. Flights, so you're lying. I saw other people in your house. He said, they get here Thursday. I can't do tomorrow. Why do we need to meet in person? She says, I can see you tomorrow. I can deadass go to Riverside too. We need to talk in person, please, man. He says, no. She says, you have one more chance to tell me the truth. You're hurting me. I don't know if you've ever been told this. She says, no, bro, cut the shit. I'm seeing you today. He says, why do you think you proved my exact point? She says, I'm giving you one more chance to tell the truth. I need to see you tonight. Tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. He says, how are you going to say you feel distant? You pushed me away from the start of the year. She says, if I see you and Aysia hanging out, I'll make anonymous accounts leaking all the shit I have on you. And I have the old numbers from my old phone printed out, including your mum, so I can contact her anytime. You know what's crazy? A lot of people, especially some of these people that support girlfriend murderers on Reddit, they'll look at this and say, see, she deserved it. Oh, yeah, she was threatening him. He put himself in this situation. For you to be in the situation where a minor is threatening you, you created the dirt. You created the circumstances for this. This is all David's fault. This is embarrassing, and the way that that Celeste is talking to him is really unfortunate. And it doesn't make her look good, but she is a child. She can't be really held accountable for her actions. She's been sucked into this. Bear in mind, they're hooking up, then he's dropping songs about her, then within a day they're back, then they're arguing, then they're going on trips, then they're breaking up again. He is a grown man, right? She was a minor. She says, I'll also have Blank's fiance on my phone. I can text it to her and spread to your work girl. I'll straight up mutilate your thang. And this is, I believe, and a lot of people believe this is when he decided to murder her. Said, you've turned this into something bigger than this conversation. This is how it goes with you. You have to find out after the fact that you do not listen to me. She said, nuh-uh, I don't even play like that. I'll deadass go to Val's door on some shit, knocking and crying. And then says, but can you tell me why you want to be friends with Aysia? Basically says Aysia's just a friend. She says, bro, just bump into her here and there. There's no need for a relationship. Keep her as an acquaintance like Lane or Rob. And you're really saying you'd end our friendship to be friends with her over me? That's disturbing and disgusting to me on a deeper level, David. It's actually crazy. This is a kid, right? It's a different story if a grown woman who's in her 20s or 30s is talking about, oh, you saying you'd end our friendship to be friends with her? That's disgusting and disturbing. It's very immature. Well, she is a literal child. So yeah, it is immature. She's going to be immature. She shouldn't be in a relationship with this grown man, right? She shouldn't be in this situation. She's saying it's actually crazy. He says, when did I say I'd end my friendship with you for her? Someone who's known you for years over someone who knows you for 1 year. Bro said, I didn't want to be friends with you. If you want to be friends with her, why is she at your house then? At my house when? Sends redacted address. For Coachella, everyone came over to get wristbands, so Aysia was over here for that reason. She says, oh my God, I swear to God, I will kill you. She was in my goddamn seat. I will strangle you to death, bro. I will tell my dad so many effing lies about you. I will end your career and your life. I will damage everything. I think it was everything. She posted at your house, you weirdos. She posted at your house, you... This conversation, I believe, was the day after. This is what she's talking about. I think that's what she's talking about. I think. All right? She posted at your house, you weirdo. Now, you know what's super creepy? Obviously, we know that the day after those messages, David allegedly murdered Celeste. And then, he went off, he played a few shows, he ordered shovels, chainsaws, tarps, body bags, all this horrific stuff, and eventually allegedly dismembered her on May the 5th. Well, what's freaking crazy, okay, is this video dropped on May the 6th, 2025, all right? Aysia uploaded this video titled Rating Met Gala 2025 Looks, and this featured David, Chase Keefe, Celeste Herrera, Aysia, and Neo, okay? All of these folks that really had no business being outside. And it's very, very creepy, honestly, to look back at it. And let's not forget, the Met Gala took place on Monday, May the 5th. So it's not like, oh, they could have recorded this a while back. No. David was allegedly dismembering Celeste while the Met Gala was going on. And he found time the day after to link up with this clown and do a reaction to the looks. So this might well be the first surviving. Aysia, Aysia, you're just too slow. All right, you're too slow. I know she's probably going to take this down. All right, she's probably going to take this down. But this is cooked. All right. Day after. This might be the first video of him after the dismemberment in public. Let's see what was said.
All right, so we're about to rate some 2025 Met Gala looks.
Trying to check my facial features out. What's up, YouTube? My name's David.
Bro, you need to make a cameo.
Somebody that just dismembered someone allegedly yesterday. Can you believe this shit?
Ew,
I can hit the fuck. I can hit the. Hello. I look chopped. It's okay.
And the theme is like Black Dandy.
So there's like black essence in everybody's like outfit.
Yeah, pretty much. First, we're gonna do Rihanna. What do you think?
I like it. I like it. It's nice. It's giving like detective. It's giving like.
These people have like barely functional brains. Like they're so boring and uncreative. They can't even come up with just simple descriptions of outfits. Like, and then the fake reaction, like, oh, you guys suck. You guys are boring.
Bro, I don't know.
7 out of 10.
How many brain cells do these lot have between them? Bro, I can't even, bro, don't turn the fucking camera on if you can't think of nothing to say, bro. Shut up. You think everybody cares about what you guys have to say so much. They're so self-obsessed. They've got nothing to say, nothing to offer.
Yeah, she's pregnant.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Bro, ASAP Rocky keeps... ASAP, stop impregnating Rihanna. I need an album, bro.
David, stop impregnating minors. How about that?
ASAP Rocky sperm cells go crazy, bro.
This is like golden. All right, next we're doing Joey King.
Wait, let me see. It's giving SpongeBob, but It's cool, it's different. You know, there's little patterns on every article of clothing, from her pant and jacket, from her.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest, he looks like a British soldier.
Like the tabbies too, and like his little like flower, whatever he's holding. What is that?
He looks tough.
I would say 7.5, 8.
No, we got Charlie. Ooh.
I'm kind of jacking it. That's pretty.
Dude, she looks hard as hell.
Yeah, labyrinth, like an Elden Ring boss type shit. Like that's valid.
Dude, she looks really cool. Well,
I'd say 8, 9. 8, 9 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it a 10.
I like the little drape. I like the little.
Where is the creeping chief? Is he coming back, or is that?
I'm gonna be honest. She looks amazing, but it reminds me of The Greatest Showman. Oh my god.
Just kind of locking in and staring at my soul at this one.
Your stool? I have the same eyes as her.
That's so scary.
Follow me on motherfucking.
Yeah, this is kind of fire.
Yo, my underbag's going. I'm a bad bitch. Fuck it.
What?
He's literally I birthed this out my.
There's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move.
These guys suck. They're talentless hacks with nothing to offer and nothing of interest other than just looking at themselves. The vanity is out of control. These people fucking suck.
Think about how fast I get that.
If you're not jacking me, then you clapping me. That's type shit.
Like and subscribe, bye. But yeah, I'm too lazy to do any more rankings, so hope you guys liked the video. Like and subscribe. No. Just kidding, I would never hit you guys. I love you guys. Oh.
Absolute douchebag, right? What a cornball. So here's a few interesting messages from the David Discord that mention Aysia in July, August, and September. And basically, it's just interesting, right? Obviously, there's all these expectations and speculations that maybe Aysia was sleeping with David. There's been people denying it. People saying question about whether the woman on David's stream was applying for Love Island. They said Aysia was. All right. People, they didn't say what it is, but I'm assuming it says, what are they? Someone says just friends. That's Aysia. She's been around forever. Someone says David's live on Twitch. It said if he's not playing 2-player feminine boy Tycoon 2 with Aysia, is it even worth watching? So there'll be some more evidence to look at after this. David would try and dress Aysia up in some of the clothes that we would later see Celeste found in, basically. Okay, so this weird clip going around that a lot of people thought might have been some kind of evidence, but there was like a really random moment in this where basically he dressed Aysia up in the exact clothes that Celeste was found in. Like, this is the fit. Okay, this is the fit. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this easier for you guys to see, but as you can see the sort of like tube top and the sort of bottoms and just the hair, just super, super creepy, to be honest with you. So it's so odd. And a lot of people have kind of maybe speculated that this song might have actually kind of been about this battle between Aysia and Celeste. So this is the song Favorite. Says, can you feel the weight on you? I'm running away from you. I'm hiding my face on you. Like I needed some space from you. Like I needed some space from you because I couldn't wait on you. How much could you take from me? You said you'd catch my tears with one hand. Would you? Would you let me cry on you? Would you let me cry on you? Would you let me cry on you? I'm bleeding out. My blood stained your clothes. Would you let me die on you? And again, obviously, I think he could well be talking from Celeste's perspective. Said, I'm still waiting for the day when I become your favorite. I become your favorite, but I can see it on your face. You're in love with my replacement. Baby, I can find no peace in the emptiness. So this, you're in love with my replacement, I think is a reference to Aysia, to be honest with you. That's what I just think. Because she was talking about being jealous and suspicious of her. Says, I can travel all night to you no matter the distance. Remember those days cooking up in the kitchen? Obviously, we know they did live streams in the kitchen. Said, you've been on my mind every second, every minute. I just want to tell you that I miss you. I'm waiting for the day when I become your favorite. I become your favorite. Had to see it on your face. You're in love with my replacement, in love with my replacement. So the last thing I just want to point out is that obviously what was weird is that I started this video talking about that Singapore trip. And in the messages before Celeste died, we're hearing her saying, you know, I want to talk to you. And David says, I need to go to Singapore. Now, there's been a lot of speculation and people asking, was there a Singapore trip in 2025? All right. Apparently there was no Singapore trip in 2025. 2024 was the only time that he went there. There was rumors of a show, some kind of pop-up, but I don't think he did attend. I was thinking that it seemed like it was very, very possible that, you know, he would have actually been getting out of the country. He didn't end up going on this world tour that he was kind of promised. People have been asking on Reddit. I've been trying to work out about this Singapore show. It might well have just been a lie. So basically, we don't know for sure, right? There's been rumors of this event going out live in Southeast Asia. He might have had some concert dates. There's been sort of like very mixed arguments about whether this was true. So there was like this like open celebration of David's debut album at this location in Singapore, and there's some videos going around of like people kind of celebrating the album release, but that trip never really happened, and it does seem like he was lying to Celeste about this alleged Singapore trip. Now what's weird is he did apparently perform in Asia but just not Singapore, and he's saying to her like all the way back in April, and again this is a timeline that somebody made quite a while ago, but this is before people knew when the murder took place. What's weird is obviously we now know April 23rd is when the murder took place. April 22 is when he's having this conversation with Celeste. So he announced tour dates just before that. And what's weird is he's saying, oh, I need to go to Singapore. He doesn't end up going to Singapore. There was not a show booked in Singapore from what I can read, but he performed in Malaysia. Apparently this doesn't make sense. He performed in Malaysia, all right? And then he performed in like Bangkok, Thailand, the Philippines, Indonesia, South Korea, some anime award show, Tokyo. So he's away for basically like damn near 2/3 of May, and then he comes back to Hollywood. So look, he did do legit shows in Asia around this time, May 13, all right, 7 p.m. He's doing these international shows. This is like some footage of his show in Bangkok. So again, it's like very interesting, right? This ain't too long after the to the dismemberment, and he outside, he doing his thing. So he was over there, he was touring internationally, he was still doing his thing, he's doing a whole interview here. So there wasn't really anything incriminating in that interview, I checked it out, all right? But basically, look, he was swanning off around the world around this time, but it was just like, he didn't go to Singapore, it doesn't really make sense, unusual, okay? I don't know if he was probably just lying to Celeste, but clearly there was actually a tour, maybe he just didn't know, maybe he didn't know what countries were on there, maybe Singapore got cancelled, but he was swanning off around the world, and I guess he didn't even think to stay abroad. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there, okay? I just thought this would be a really interesting kind of aspect of the story to break down to you guys. We're still kind of digging really deep into this, and, you know, we're looking for new things. We're constantly finding little new things that kind of give new context to old stuff. So I'll keep you guys posted on anything else that I hear, but for now, that's kind of like, you know, the new little details that I found. I did just find something really interesting, but it's not something I can share because it's kind of like a personal identifier when it comes to like one of the families involved in this situation, but it could give some very interesting insights to some footage that's been out there that I don't think has fully been understood. So I'm going to keep digging into everything. Me and my team, we've been still reaching for any information that we can find about this situation to give further context. But I'll let you guys know as soon as I hear anything. Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate the support. I'm out for now. Thank you.